It's best and go fight Earl Spence then. Shut up, take a little bit less money, be quiet, humble yourself, and fight Earl Spence, a stud. Do what he say, and then you might be the challenger sometimes.
Man, sit your ass down.
I'm mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that jackass Bray.
For all time's sake.
So what do I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. Okay, so before we get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go on ahead, hit the like button. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy, so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel, you know what I mean? And while you're at it, be sure to check out the merch we got popping out, you know what I mean, on these boxing streets, man. Be sure to get you a sweater, you know, a coffee mug, you know, we got all kind of stuff on there as far as the merch. And be sure to check out the perks for the membership too, man. We got a few things going on the channel, so y'all be sure to support the channel if you can. But yes, sir, man. With all that being said, let's go on and get down and dirty into the video. And man, y'all see what the title of the video is.
As time goes by.
Jermell Charlo might be in trouble. You know what I mean? Jermell Charlo might be in trouble. Jermell Charlo might be next for Terence Bud Crawford. But don't take my word for it. Check out this interview by the WBO president, Paco, and see for yourself.
I want to know, can Crawford do that in the case of Jermell Charlo? Jermell Charlo, being as though he is a super champion and he's had that belt since 135. How likely is Paco to approve Terence Crawford to face Jermell Charlo? How real is that?
I don't know if because you're still having problem with the communication, but the thing is that if Crawford wants to fight 154, we allow him to do it. You know, if Crawford wants to fight a 140, we allow him to do it because he's super champion and that's in the rule. You got the privilege. But if you don't have that, then you have to fulfill a mandatory commitment with Roche.
Okay, so we know the WBO just announced that Alexis Rocha is now the new mandatory for Terence Crawford's WBO belt, right? And Terence Bud Crawford, as the champion at 147 pounds, is obligated to fight Alexis Rocha, being his mandatory, right? So that's one option for him. But another option for him, as the super champion, is to be able to move up to 154 pounds and fight Jermell Charlo, right, who's the champion at 154 pounds right away. Now, the problem with that move prior to this interview is that a lot of people suspected that because Tim Tszyu is the mandatory and they've already named a mandatory via the WBO, that Terence Bud Crawford wouldn't be able to fight Jermell Charlo right away, that he would either have to wait for Tim Tszyu or fight Tim Tszyu and become the mandatory challenger over him for a shot at Jermell Charlo, right? So that's what a lot of people suspected. But the WBO president is saying that that may not necessarily be the case, right? If Crawford want to move up to 154 pounds, he can, right? But let's dig in a little bit further into the interview and see what else Paco talking about.
Clear, if Crawford activated his super champion status, does he get first dibs at Charlo, or does he have to wait after the winner of Tszyu Harrison?
No, that's something we can work on. Okay, we have to talk to everybody, but I would like to do that in agreement with everybody. But on the ordinary circumstances, Crawford has the right to fight in the upper division or lower division. In this case, if we have in 6 months, that's what we have to discuss and decide, because we never had that before.
That's amazing.
For that reason, I'm telling you that I prefer the parties to reaching an agreement, and because we didn't have that situation before, that you have to decide between the super champion privilege and the interim champion rights.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So Paco pretty much just cleared up a lot of the speculation that was made on behalf of a lot of fight fans that were trying to separate Jermell Charlo from Terence Bud Crawford, right? Because we know the last thing a Earl Spence fanboy, along with Earl Spence himself, the last thing they would want is for Terence Bud Crawford to get a shot at Jermell Charlo, right? We know that's the last thing that they want. But with that said, if Terence Bud Crawford was to become Jermell Charlo's mandatory, he would either have to fight him or vacate the belt, right? Which at this particular point, I mean, looking at Jermell Charlo's energy towards Terence Bud Crawford, I'd put my money on vacate the belt. But either way, it would put him in a situation where he would have to make a decision, right? And Terence Bud Crawford wouldn't necessarily need to fight Tim Tszyu in order to put him in that position, which is the antithesis to what a lot of Spence fans and boxing fans have been saying, right? And I know, I heard what the WBO president said. He pretty much said that Team Crawford and Team Tszyu / Harrison would pretty much have to work out the terms of how that would go. Whether it would be Crawford that would fight Charlo right away, or whether it be one of them, or whatever the situation is, right? But would it really be that difficult for Crawford to pay step-aside money to either Harrison or Tszyu and guarantee them a shot at the winner? Would it really be that difficult, considering that the Crawford versus Charlo fight would be a much bigger fight than a Harrison or Tszyu versus Charlo fight, right? So there'd be room in there to pay one of them guys step-aside money, right? But in addition to that, if Charlo decides that he's going to vacate the belt, which is much more likely, then it would be Crawford versus one of those guys anyway for a title shot, right? So it would make all the sense in the world for those guys to take step-aside money in order to allow Terence Bud Crawford to fight a Jermell Charlo, right? And then the other upside on their situation is, in addition to getting step-aside money, 9 times out of 10, because we know that Bud Crawford is the real cash cow. And the reason why I say he's the real cash cow is because all of his opponents have all made the most amount of money, right, in their career. Sean Porter, Amir Khan, a lot of these dudes made their highest payday fighting a Terence Bud Crawford, and that would be no exception for either Tim Tszyu or Tony Harrison, giving them yet another incentive to allow Bud Crawford to fight a Jermell Charlo over one of them, right? So, honestly and truly, man, I think that this is a good, viable route for Bud Crawford. If Earl Spence is going to insist on ducking, dodging, maneuvering, and pivoting his way out of competition, and Bud doesn't want to stay at 147 pounds anymore, this will be a good option for him, man. This will be a good option. He could stay at 147. He could go after the belts that Boots and Virgil Ortiz are probably going to have after Earl Spence completely ducks the entire welterweight division. Or he can go up to 154, grab that WBO belt, and still stand in the way from Earl Spence being undisputed after he inherits the belts that Jermell Charlo will more than likely inevitably vacate. You know what I mean? But let me know y'all thoughts, man. Let me know y'all thoughts on this situation, man. Well, which way do y'all think Bud Crawford should go on this? Do y'all think he should stay at welterweight, try to collect them belts that Earl gonna drop? Or you think he should move up to 154 right now, go after Jermell, you know what I mean, and stay at 154 and make some fights happen in 54, man? Let me know what your thoughts is, bro. Hit it up in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit that goddamn like button on your way out. But until next time, bro, I'ma holla at y'all. Peace.
See what I did, compared to what he did. So that's what happened. As soon as the stoppage happened, that's what happened there.